we go. Alright. Whoa. Looks sick.
Don't step in it, Pete.
So this has been sitting here for 2 weeks because I had another group come through 2 weeks ago, and there was effluent coming out from that pipe over there. That's the gravity feed. So wherever possible, use nature to your advantage rather than using pumps and electricity and maintenance that goes with it and so on. So this has been drying now for that period of time. Once it's a little bit more solidified, so that it doesn't slosh around in the front end loader bucket, it can be transported away. So what they do is they come in with a front end loader, scrape it off, and it's only a metre deep like this empty one that you can see next to you here. And that aids the evaporation process much more. These ponds used to be all connected so that we had one pond here and another one on the other side of the road, and they were about 6 metres deep. And we used to find that it took ages and ages for these precipitates to dry out, but by making them shallower, it's increased the efficiency of the evaporation rate enormously. So we've got a good recycling time, and it's much more convenient to section things off so you don't have a continual slurry of wet stuff mixing in with the other stuff like we used to have, and we can use smaller machinery to get in there and do the job quicker rather than having to hire big excavators with long booms to do the job, which is very, very expensive to have them on site for any period of time. So you can see that there's some footprints along the surfaces here. So we get things like foxes coming through and kangaroos and stuff like that, birds of various sorts, possums. Okay, so this is the sort of end product of the cleaning up of the water, and so once this is dried out, it's then scooped up and taken across to the mine for storage there, where it's probably going to be used in the final stages of the rehabilitation program as a medium for growing vegetation, like this sort of thing here. It works quite well. We've assessed that, and we're quite happy with the way it responds to plant growth, and that means that we don't have to buy topsoil and stuff like that to do the job, but that's quite a way off yet at this stage. Any questions?
What are its properties as a soil? Is it a clayey loam or?
It's essentially gypsum, but it's got the heavy metals bound up in it. And gypsum is, well, the reason why it's brown in colour rather than sort of a whitish colour like gypsum tends to be, or icy sort of a colour, is because this has got a fair bit of iron oxide mixed in it as well. So that makes it look rusty, a bit like clay. It's not in fact just straight clay, although there would be some clay minerals in there, because when the sulfuric acid that forms from the sulfide minerals attacks the other chemicals or minerals that are in the rock, such as micas and so on, they produce clay minerals as one of the products and dissolved salts. Okay, so there would also be a certain amount of clay substance in here, although most of the water that comes in doesn't have a lot of that sort of solid material in it, but it's enough to colour it and make it look like it's a clay type mud.
What is the contents of heavy metal? Is it quite significant, or because
the actual figures are in the PowerPoint that you've got available to you back at the uni. The original concentrations were high enough to be of concern for human health, but nobody had actually consumed or taken enough of that in to have any actual health effects on their bodies in the drainage from here to Lake Alexandrina. Okay, but if the potential is there, then it's better to deal with that and stop that from being a source of health problem rather than just letting it go, because that's the way the laws for mining operate now. This is sort of fixing up a problem that under current mining regulations would not happen. Under current mining regulations, you're not allowed to just leave a mine site and go like they used to do 20, 30 years ago. Now you have, before you actually turn over one shovel load of dirt you have to produce an environmental picture as it is before mining. You have to produce a picture of the impact of your mining operation through studies of populations of various types of plants and living things. That's an EIS, Environmental Impact Statement. And then you have to show how you're going to manage the environmental disturbances during mining, and at shutdown what you're going to do to rehabilitate, cost it all out, get that checked and approved by our government department and our officers, who are geologists and mining engineers and so on. And then that money, after it is agreed upon as to how much that would all cost, is put in a trust account. So it is no longer the company's money, all right? So that if the company goes broke, the government has got access to that fund to be able to do the rehabilitation environmental work.
I think this kind of fertility of soil is a good source of as a byproduct from your plant, because you have some plan about the plantation in that area. So this is a good source for the fertility of soils. Because
yeah, gypsum is used to disperse clay rich soils and make them a little bit more friable, easy to break up for roots to move through and get nutrients. So it serves that purpose, but it's not in such a good chemical condition that we could sell it, right? Because
especially
then
those soils which have sodium ions, it could be very effective.
because then we would be spreading the heavy metals that are contained in this to other places around the state, and that's not good. So this would not be used for agricultural purposes or anything like that. Okay, if we move back and go out through the gate to the bus, we'll go in.